Hello, hello. I'm not on the TV though. My monitor. He's going to set it up for us. Let's go. Hello, everybody. We actually made it. This is the first one. I hope you're excited. Where's my camera? There's my camera. There we go. All right. So this is what we're going to call Terrain Tuesday. This is something we've been, oh, by the way, my name's Ed Pugh here at Reaper, president here at Reaper. This is something that we have been doing for a lot of years, is building terrain here for all sorts of purposes. And this is a general survey, and we're going to see where the show's going to go, and I'll tell you that in a second, or how that evolves. So anyway, what we have done and what we consider to be terrain covers a wide spectrum. This over here, Justin, which camera's for this? There we go.
I got you.
Okay, there. This is a set we've been using it up here on the Reaper Live and everything else. This particular set was built years ago by me to be a backdrop. And then what we would do is use this in various modes. You see the Sarkovskis, oh, now we can turn a mausoleum, or we can pull them out, we can do this, and it would be done. An example of that would be, now we need this camera. We're using different cameras. Here we go. You can see here's the background, and there's the floor down here. There's the same. This is the same unit, but right back here we've photographed, blue light, grass, whatever, a little bit happier, and that was used for this particular box set just a lot of years ago. I don't know what year it was. So that's an example of what we would do with terrain. Then we would also have to build terrain for shows as far as displays, like we would have a display. We did one for Doom when we did those figures, I guess circa 96. Through the years, we've done a lot of just sets that would be props there at the shows, and they would display whatever the new range was or whatever we were trying to do at the time. So on the commercial side. We also build it when we run games around here. We'll be doing that. And that's a different kind of terrain, but that's what we'll be doing it for that. And then also, too, for just general photographic, when we want to put stuff up for background. So what we're going to try and do, the hope here is that through the weeks we're going to evolve, and I'm just going to show you a bunch of techniques, or just how we're doing it and why we would do it, and everything we're going to do, and hopefully you can follow along. So we don't really, I don't even have a ruler up here. I don't generally use a ruler unless it's something that requires that kind of a thing. So what we'll be doing this time is I'm going to first go through some stuff we've built, but I want to go through the tools, I'm going to go through the tools first, and then we're going to go over stuff we built, and then we'll start cutting stuff up. So if we don't have a down, let me use the down camera. So what I have is just a bunch of stuff. You can get this from Micromart. I've got my version of an X-Acto. I use this because X-Actos, in the old days when I was using them, would rotate, and if you were pulling in your cut, it just pulled the blade out if you weren't tight. So you've got that. Rather pair of snippers, you'll see these come in. We use these a lot. For stripping, cutting on wood and stuff like that, they make this little kind of gizmo I've had for years. There's a clipper that allows me to do angles real quick. It's got them all right there here, so I just do that, snip, and go. Obviously basic stuff like a miter box with its various saw blades, kind of a thing. Then we have straight edges, which is what I use the most, or a lot of, to be able to make straight cuts real fast. You can also mark up. I have this is a tool from the sewing section, but in reality, I use it for all sorts of just adding texture, to make a line, to mark a line that I'm going to do, things like that. So it comes in real handy. You can see it. A lot of in the building, especially when you're working with wood, is straight pins. I actually use dress pins. They're slightly shorter, and depending on the brand you get, they're a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to use, but they have the same head. Some sort of a twine or a thread that would fit the scale that we're dealing with, which would be that 25, 28, whatever we want to call it. Then some sort of a wood glue. This is particular stuff is just from Walmart. I usually use Type Bond. I didn't find it and didn't want to run around town looking for it. And then a pair of pliers, and that's sort of your basic stuff. Now what we'll be working with, let's use that outward camera, is I just generally have a big bucket here of scrap wood. That's literally what I'm pulling stuff from. And it's like I need a piece like this, or I need a piece like that. I hunt it out, I do it, we go, we keep moving. In the future, we'll also be working with all sorts of materials. Here is various types of plastistruck, or is what I call it. Evergreen would be one brand. They're just little tiny strips of styrene. This is various eye bars. In this particular one, this is plastistruck. And then you've also got KS, which is real good for brass. So if you need tubing, these kinds of things. So this is where you get all this. Now, where you find all this stuff would be a hobby town, but also too, Micromark's a real good place for all of the tools themselves. I don't really have any particular. This is just a hodgepodge of junk from the years that I've sort of kept up with and done stuff like that. So anyway, that's the tools, and then also too for sanding. I've got there's sandpaper, but I've really sort of fallen in love with the sanding sticks too. These are real popular. You can get them in the various grades. Now. Nowadays, though, terrain is dramatically changing because we have 3D printers. Let me use the overhead, this or the down camera. There we go. Now, this is a 3D printed wagon. It looks incredible. You can go. It has some assembly required to it. You can see these would have been shape, size comparisons and fit prints that we did for the piece. But for all intents and purposes, that's a badass wagon. If you've got a 3D printer and you want to go down that road, this is a lot. This can do a lot of stuff really cool, really quick. But there's a certain amount of technology you've got to get and all sorts of things to be able to make this happen. But this is a good where a lot of this kind of feature terrain is going to go. But with that said, years ago, and I don't know how many hundreds of years ago, this was a wagon here that I built for, I don't remember, colonials, I guess. This would have been, I don't know, 1850s, somewhere in that area or even older. Kind of thing, just so it was hauling supplies. It was part of a scenario. And so really all I did was just hijack some wheels, built the wagon part, grabbed some other just terrain bits and stuff, put it all together, glued it all together, and now you have a wagon. And it doesn't take that long, as you'll see. We'll get to that. We'll start off with stuff like that relatively quickly. Moving on up through the years, there were various times we did sieges. And in fact, too, when we launched Dark Heaven, the Apocalypse, which would have been 96, I guess, a long time ago, that particular game, we have here around the shop a huge plaster castle. Yeah, go ahead.
Just keep doing you.
A huge plaster castle, and part of it was we recreated the vampire assault on this castle and this, that, and the other. So we built all the siege equipment and stuff like that. And this is some of the stuff that survived from that show. A lot of times we build a lot of really extravagant stuff, but getting packed, transported, unpacked, repacked up, it finally just turns into trash. So these are some of the things I kept. This is a battering ram. How it was constructed was really basic, just a box. We added some wheels. We put the ram in. Get it to where it'll go. You can see there. And you know, it was just for a fun sake, and it didn't matter. It became functional. Now, in this particular case, it's a construction, and this is representing just hides and stuff like that you would put on. That was supposed to just, I guess, prevent fire, tar, whatever, to seal it up. But anyway, there was this ram. Another piece was this. Now you'll have to use the big camera, the front camera. This one was a siege tower we did. And so it has all the levels. It's a very conventional siege tower to this. Can you show that picture 3 that we sent, the white one? Yeah. And so siege towers, and like with all of this kind of stuff, it follows a general set of geometry, but how you get to how you get there really doesn't matter. It's always really specially built for what they're going to do. Jason will throw up like a siege tower picture here in a second. But the function is you would build these on site for the castle that you were going to assault. And the theory is you would have all these people in here protected on the 3 sides, and this ramp here, this would be up to protect them on the front, and so that they could roll up to your tower or to your wall, and then in turn, that's picture 1. That's not that one, picture 3.
Okay.
There's 2 of that, and then one of the, then it's that one.
This one, okay.
That one. So the theory is they would run up to the wall, and when they would get to the wall, this would come down, land on the wall, and then all of the troops would go up the ladder, disgorge, come across. You might put archers up here to help protect them, things of this nature. So I don't remember how many of these we had. We had a bunch of them, but this would be part of the whole game was you had to put your troops in there, you had to move this forward, you know, all this kind of stuff. As you can see here, this is just an old drawing of the technical side of exactly how it works, showing the functions. And that's a lot of what we would be doing when we're doing, but there is no set way of doing this, I guess. So anyway, there's that. Now go back to those other 2 pictures. Okay. This will be, one of the things I'd like to do with the show is be able to have, sort of like what Ann's enjoyed, of continuity, so that when we start on something, we can work through it in our time allotted and then turn around and continue it the next week until it's done. And so to that end, I want to go ahead and build the trebuchet, that one there. There's another picture of it too. This is, I believe it's from the Osprey rendition, a color rendition of it, but it's based on an old wood print, a wood cutting. That one there. That was what I originally built from. And so instead of there's not going to be plans for something like this where we can sit down and go, we need this stick, it's got to be this long, and we assemble it like a model kit or something. This is literally, we just look at this and we build it. And for scale, what we'll do is use that guy down there on the winch, which we will assume he's 5 feet tall. And we'll roughly just approximate the pieces, and then we just go ahead and assemble. You'll just see how it all ends up getting assembled. So that'll be a long-term project I want to do with the show. So with that said, and those things covered, let me go at questions. Does Ed get manicures? His nails are in such good shape. No, I don't. Actually, yeah. No, I just cut them. I guess I could let them grow. So anyway, anything else? Any questions? So I'm not seeing anything. All right. So what we're going to do is today, I'm just going to grab some stuff. And this is in a discussion from about a week ago. I was listening, we were talking, and it was about Scratch building or needing a raft in the game was the concept. And so the party had to build a raft. And how would you build a raft on the fly? I mean, that's up to that. It'll all happen. But you just need different kind of wood, scavenge wood, and some tools, or you would assume to have the tools.
Reaper is my crack. Actually, I would imagine going forward, yeah, we'll have a list of materials for that day.
Yes. As we get into something like that, but generally, I just have a large scrap box of stuff like that. So, like on that trebuchet, these are just two big board or sticks, and I only use balsa wood unless I need it to structurally handle. Basswood is nicer, but it's a little harder to work with. So I stick truly with the balsa wood because I don't ever build a functional. The trebuchet is not going to fire. The geometry will be very close to correct, but being made out of balsa wood, you'd get, I don't know, it's not going to work. But you can build, and people do build, miniature functional siege engines. We're doing this more for the props and the terrain and things like that to enhance the game. You could always just put a square out, put a bunch of guys on it, and scoot that across the table and say these guys are all in a siege tower, or we could build one and put it there. Let's see. Okay, so anyway, we'll just go from there. Now what we have to have, and we'll use that one for that, is a structure. So the construction technique I use. Now, first off, I guess I should probably sketch it. But what we're going to do is just basically real quickly build just a raft. And what I'm really going to do here is show you how I would apply the construction techniques we're going to use. So as you get your tools together and things like that, or if this is something you want to do, then you'll be ready, when we go. We just scrap pieces. And there is not I don't know exactly which one's going to be. I don't even know I guess that's a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch piece. But anyway, a raft's going to need to have, for this kind of construction, some sort of a basic frame. Okay, so let's get the down camera. Okay, and so I don't know how long we'll make it. We can go like right about there. In fact, we'll just use the squares. So we've got that, and we'll need it again. So we've got that. And then what I do, in this particular case here, because I'm not worried about the edges, in fact, we're going to have to mess them up, is that makes one, and then I double check it, and I was off, so I'll stick my thumb there, and we'll knock another one off. Okay, now, this is just going to become what we rat to with our pins and stuff. Now I need the cross boards. And assuming these guys had to go out and get a rabble, what I'm going to look for here are various thicknesses. I don't want any two thicknesses next to each other to be the same, various widths, and I just want to get a general idea of how this raft is going to look on its top part. And go from there, and we'll say somebody found a door. We can throw that on this side. Oh, that's a little too big. Although we can cut it like a door. All right. So that's going to look good, pretty ratty to me. Because all they've got to do, let's say, is get this thing across some creek or river or whatever it is they can't walk across. So to do the cutting fast, I'm just going to go down, look at that end, and say that's all good. I don't know what happened there. And then on this side, we'll cut right about there. Like that. So, now that we've got our basic parts here, We use the wood glue. Now, when it comes to the wood glue, I prefer you have a choice. You can use white school glue or Elmer's, and then there's actual wood glue. And in my brain, at least, the wood glue dries a little faster and things like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's at least what my brain says. Now, because all of these are various, oh yeah, we need a door. I'm going to change blades real quick.
Yes, they do. Psychic machinery.
All right. There we go. All right. Let's do an archway door. Can we see that on there? Yeah. We're trying a new camera. It's basically a document camera, but it gives us a look down. And that doesn't look straight, so we started off okay. I'll pick it up here. Didn't follow the curve. And we'll pick a little bit more of the angle there. And we'll take it right about here. And so now that we have the base, this would be the part, these are all of the panels that the party or whoever constructed this thing is going to be on. And we have our frame base that we're going to build on. So what I usually do...
real quick, though,
yes,
we
sir.
did have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. You'll have to read them because I'm not looking there.
Someone asked if you ended up staining this or painting it.
Both.
Both?
Both.
Okay.
And we'll hopefully get that far. Because in 45 minutes, I mean, we've still got 45 minutes to go. Yes, the wood glue is water resistant, and the white will fall apart very much. And which that's part of, too. You want to, when you're staining, I hope this thing doesn't defeat me. When you're staining, if you've put wood glue on there by accident, it won't absorb the stain, so you have to knock it out. The tool that I'm using for cutting, it's available at Micromart. I've got a couple of them. It's just a cutter. It doesn't have a name brand on it anywhere. It's just gradiated into the various angles if you're going to try and be accurate. And as you can see, it's just basically a big set of scissors. And I've got and it's not even that sharp here. It's because it's just squeezing it off, but it does make a nice cut to it. It doesn't squeeze that. When it gets dull, that'll be when it's time to replace it, because then you're going to spend more time squeezing the wood and deforming it. So the construction technique we're going to use is we're going to take the boards, make this. I'm going to scoot over here to the right a little bit so I can be a little bit more into the camera.
Someone also asked why not use hot glue if they don't want to wait for the wood glue to dry.
Well, what I did is I came up with this technique so I don't have to wait for the wood glue to dry. But a hot glue, to me, every time it might just be something that's just going to defeat me and it'll be on my tombstone that I failed at hot glue. But I'm terrible with hot glue. I can't get it to work. It doesn't flow. Now, I watch what people do with it. It's amazing, but it's just not me, my skill set. What I do to get around this is simply, let me get this open here. What we'll do is drop, and we can see this, yeah, for this first board. Now that's really, because of this applicator, it's way too much glue. So I'll generally pull this down a little bit, and we'll use it for 2 or 3, because what we don't want it to do is squeeze back up between these little rafters that we're putting on this thing. I don't have a paper towel.
I got you.
You got me? So, as we get going, we have to put these first few in to just sort of make a marker. We have to get a square out of it, and again, our little grid here can help us with that. Thank you, sir. There we go. And then I use this, I drive the pins in. Now the pins here, we're going to give us a little bit more depth, a little bit less because we got a door in there. Now I don't have to worry about it being square at this point, and we can trim it at the end. But these will represent, you can do, if we wanted to be fancy, you could put 2 of these in at a time. And then generally what I have here is just a pair of needle nose pliers. I like the curved kind at least. It allows me to go in. Now all I'm going to be able to do is go in until I hit the board down below, the cut part. Okay? I'm going to show you a trick or what I do on that. That's where we all start to live dangerously.
If you wanted to, could you use a little like baby hammer?
Yeah, you could, but it's balsa wood. But yeah, you can, whatever it takes for you to get through it. Now, what I have here is I always end up developing one. Is these pins only went this far. And as you can see, it's going to securely hold them, but it's not going to go any farther than the thing below. And what I really want to do is have these push all the way through. Not into my finger, just through the board. There we go. Like so. And then when we go to stain and paint, these are actually going to end up being stakes or whatever we want to call it. They'll be part of the terrain effect. And then you push through. Now I've got these things sticking out on the end, and this is securely held the way I want it to. So I'm just going to snip these off. But I'll tell you now, if you go to snipping and you just want to snip, man, you're shooting these things everywhere. And your significant other is going to really get upset when they're digging them out of the vacuum cleaner. So what I learned to do was I had a board like this, and I would just simply, I'm going to come along with my flush side here, and I'm going to barrel up to that right there. But to keep it from flying is I just put it in the wood, and I snip. And it leaves it there, if you can see it at that angle, there it is, and it doesn't fly across the room, and we get a reasonably very flush cut there. And I don't really now have to wait for the wood to dry, or for the glue to dry, with this, like that. So there's our first two. And at this point, we could go over here and make a box and try and work back and forth. It's easier for what we're getting ready to do to just now, when you find things like that that are printed, you can either sand them off if that's important or just put them on. Now, one of the things I'm also going to do here is we can start adding the texture to it. Not all boards are going to be, especially if in a quick time, are all going to be equal. So I can come along here and just irregularly take this corner off, as you see.
And always cut away from yourself.
Yeah, you learn that in mold making real quick. Al, if you're watching, you know this better than anybody. He stabbed himself one night right in the in his stomach. Okay, with one of it slipped and it hit, and it was back when we were at the sub shop, and so it was 100 degrees in there. Everybody was sweating, and so the sweat had already permeated his t-shirt. So when he started bleeding, man, it looked pretty like, oh my God, this guy's getting ready to go down. But anyway, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even deep enough for a stitch. He just put a Band-Aid on it. Anyway, I should have done this before, but I didn't. But we're going to go back, and we're going to cut some just corners on this.
As he cuts towards himself?
Well, but my thumb's there. If I slip, it's my thumb. And these kinds of irregularities here, we're not trying to make smooth cuts. And that's a little blotted out. How can I get that to focus a little bit better?
Come closer to the mat.
There we go. As you can see right here, these are some pretty radical, messed up cuts. Again, we're not trying to be, this is a makeshift kind of a thing. So if you can take some of that glare out, yeah. So we're just learning this camera today. The first one we got, of course, was DOA. So we had to get a second one in. We haven't had any time to play with it. But that seems to be the way most shows go.
There we go. How about that?
Yeah, much better. You can see the contrast. And I don't have to take them all off. It's really up to you how much distress relief or just random, we got this out of the garbage pit look you want to do. And we'll do the ends when we're done. So at this time, I'm just going to continue on. How much time we got? Oh, yeah.
Apparently we have to take my car because your car is too nice to bleed in.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I mean, I do have leather seats, so it's easier to clean blood.
Well, that is true. That is true.
And it is the faster car.
Yeah, that's debatable. That depends on which one I'm in, but yeah. Wintertime, we don't get to play with the cars much. So now, at this point, I do want to make sure I start as halfway at least, attempt to stay straight. And we do the same thing we did before. But because this is makeshift, I don't like to line them up perfectly. What you got? What'd I do?
No, Kavinica said, just don't take the tractor.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, really. Well, you don't know. It looks like you got about out of the parking lot and bled out. Yeah. All right.
Don't ask questions, Dr. Bob.
He's a doctor. We do have a doctor in the house then.
Yeah,
Unless, of course, he just plays a doctor on TV or stayed in a Holiday Inn Express.
That's what it is. They're asking how I know that blood wipes off of leather so easy.
Oh. Yeah. Just remember, leaving the scene is key.
I'm assuming most fluids do, but...
No, leather will absorb it. I mean, that's a level to absorb a lot of different things.
Maybe that's what it is. It just disappears then. That's 6 one way, half a dozen other. As long as it's gone.
Yeah. Now, something you can also use here instead of these little pliers is I just didn't find mine, was I have a pen vise that has a dip in the top of it, and it'll nestle that pin head really nicely. And to get them to go so that you're not messing with it too hard, we can put it here on this edge and push them on through. Take everything else with us. Catastrophe has struck. All right. Let's get rid of that part first.
Oh, perfect, Dave. Thank you. Dave apparently has leather cleaner in the car wash.
Oh, okay, good.
Wait,
So
Dave, do you have the restoration stuff? I know this is kind of off topic, but
yes,
I could use some of that.
To restore what?
My leather seats. They're a little distressed.
Don't wear jeans. In fact, what you should do is every time you want to go anywhere, just get totally naked.
When was the last time you saw me in jeans, Ed?
I don't know. I never really paid attention, to be honest with you.
I see how it is.
Okay. And this is where I start playing the hunt game because I've already lost my tools. It should be right in front of me.
Dr. Bob wanted to know, what would you use if you wanted to simulate rope lashings? If you use wire or string?
String, thread. Got it right here. Now, the wire could be used. I'll use whatever I can find, really, when it goes down to it. But with the wire, you really need to get it to look rope-ish, or to be, you really need a very, 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 very thin little wire. There we go. So, there's that one. Then let's pick another piece. And we're not going to do anything to this. This will just be a board. And
how long does that wood glue actually take to dry?
not very long at all. Not at least compared to white glue. Now, white glue has its useful purpose too. If you'll take static grass and mix white glue, watered down white glue with static grass, it makes some serious material that you can trowel and fill gaps on bases and do all sorts of stuff. And unlike the white glue by itself, which wants to suck in and leave holes, all of that static grass acts like a aggregate for it. We also want to make our, there we go.
Thanks, Elwindale, for the leather treatment suggestions. I appreciate it. Someone want to know if those are straight pins or sewing pins, I guess, being used as nails?
They're straight pins.
They're straight
I get
pins?
dressmaker pins because they're slightly shorter and thinner. Depending on the brand, it's really a brand-oriented thing. But the dressmaking pins are slightly shorter. It just means less that I got to push through from that end of it. It's more of a laziness factor than anything. And half the fun is once we've got this put together, then we distress it and we stain and paint it. And at that point, you know, it's ready to go.
Then maybe we give it away.
Then maybe we give it away.
So I will say that if we ever do giveaways on this show, it will likely be oriented to what Ed is building, depending on what it is.
What we're doing, yeah.
Yes, correct. So
each show, what they're trying, somebody asked about what the difference is. Reaper Live, it's easy because we're doing anything and everything we can around the shop. And when we run across things, we go, okay, well, you know, normally we would like, let's say, put it in the dollar bin or blow it out or tear it apart for parts, or there's any number of things that it ends up doing and gets repurposed to. But there's also, with the shows, just to say, there you go, hand it out. But with all the different shows we're talking about, we don't have that much stuff. So we leave it with Reaper Live, kind of a thing. And damned if the door didn't come up short. Look at that. This is back to when rulers are optional. So what we need is that piece again. There it is. And we'll just build half a door, cathedral type thing. And to me, this would have been like a man door, a single man door, if you were going to arch it. This would have been a double door, so we're going to put it in to make it longer, and it seemed like it halfway fits into the equation. We'll make it just part of the double door. Now, at this time, this is where the little roller tool comes into effect, because this door itself would have been made out of boards. So this is where you can go in and put down a pre-texture, which is all we're going to do is go back and roll this on this. And what it does is it shrinks the wood down in there a little bit, and it gives the idea that there were planks here in this door shape. And without building, although you can, like I just did there, since I'm running with the grain, I just split it, which is no problem. I'll show you how we fix that. And then for that last one, we just go. Now, to give it some structural strength, we can just simply go here to the back side. See how it's wanting to split? That's one of our boards. And we're just going to put some cross boards on it, like that. And since it's on the bottom side, we're not really too worried about it, but I want to make sure it sits inside the area. And as you can see, this is very much a as-you-go event, what you're doing. If I get off the camera, let me know. So I'm going to get the glue all around and splotch it. We're going to tack it right there. Do the same thing.
No, Dr. Bob, there is not. We're taking Thanksgiving off.
Yeah, no, we will.
There will not be a painting platinum or a reaperlive.
Now, this is the same effect as before, but now I want to use these. I use the straight pin purely as just structural support. So I don't want the head, the rivet head looking thing. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to stick it down, get them in there, and then we're just going to snip them.
The roller tool, where did you say you could get that from?
The most common place, in the modeling world, you would call it a rivet roller on plastic models. Or you can go to the sewing world, like at Walmart, and inside of there it's used for marking the plans or whatever if you're getting ready to, a seamstress would use. So it rolls on. I've never used it in dressmaking, so I don't understand the concept, but you can see it's just got sort of a serrated edge to it, and it just rolls. And they're at Walmart. It's where I got this one, but you see them all over the place. I've got some more somewhere. I couldn't find those that have different types of serrations on them depending on what you're trying to do.
Type a 1 in chat if you want to see specialty Reaper branded versions of all of these tools.
Yeah. Well, that would make Michael's day.
It would. It really would. Also, it'd be cool, though.
Tools are something we're looking at, but we want to bring something different to the table. Like right now, we have developed, but we're still getting quoted, a seam scraper that works really well on all of the Bones models. And
that's true. We could put together like an entry-level kit or something, maybe. Kind of to your point.
Right.
I think people would enjoy that.
So what I've done here is I've just more or less put miniature nails through, made out of these things. So they go through, and all they're going to do is hold this part here, which no one's ever going to see. It was put on there purely for the structure because it got split, and it's going to hold this part together when we're over here playing with it on the raft. So there's somebody's church door that is gone, and it needs a few nails in it.
Also, to update everyone here who's in chat, actually, since I've got you here, tomorrow we will be doing Reaper Toolbox at 1:30, right. But I already put some announcements up on Facebook, but it will have Mocha.
Minis by Mocha.
Yes, Minis by Mocha. She has agreed, since she's down for Thanksgiving.
She lives, well, I won't say she used to live here. She's from this area. I met her mom at ReaperCon. It's really nice.
Yeah, and her dad. Her dad actually was a huge help. So.
Oh, I didn't meet him.
Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
But the thing I've always liked about Mocha is she's always smiling. She's the kind of person I think if I ever saw her with a really bad, mad look on her face, I just really think this is bad. We got to go the other way.
Correct. Yeah. It's gone nuclear.
It's gone nuclear. Yeah, this is the bad option.
Yeah, she does always have a very good attitude.
So, come on, quit flipping around there. We'll go back to this.
Dave said that's his church door.
His church, yeah, it would be. I mean, that would have been off of that.
Actually, that is that what you call Dave's current front door? Is a church door? Because it's a big,
No,
heavy door.
it's a more of a Spanish medieval. The Inquisitors in town, so I don't want to answer the door looking door. Okay, so we're gonna some glue on it to hold it sort of where we want, in that sense. And they'll have to throw a few stakes in it to be random. I don't have any wire, or I would bend some wire and put a latch on the other end. That'll be something I'll have to go find. I haven't had to do this because of the way things have changed. Matt Clark and myself used to do this every Saturday. We'd have the list of stuff that had to be built for photo shoots. We just called it Coachworks, and we would sit back there in what's now the conference room, and just sit there and make this stuff all day. Whatever, Matt and I'd be doing it together. And he'd say, well, I'll do these parts, and I'd say, I'll do these, let's get it done, and then that way it was set up, ready to go. And for that week's photos or whatever had to have happen. Because sometimes, too, it also takes longer than the time, something like the trebuchet or a really elaborate dungeon background or something like that. Things like that crypt I showed you here, you know, that was probably easily 3 or 4 days worth of work there to get it to go. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm still on here. I'm sorry. I keep pushing towards me. I'm going to move this slightly so we can catch it all. It was James Wapple, by the way, that discovered these cameras, and or showed me the first one. And so then we were on it to try it out for this purpose right here. Because I found when I was painting and on those, and that was sort of the hard thing, is I kept trying to think of something that I could paint in one show. Because really Ann had her continuity going. And I missed that ability because there's a lot more stuff you can go out and paint and have fun doing. So, as this thing starts to take shape, oops, where's my box? This has already been a wild and woolly couple of days because in my world, who was walking around thinking tomorrow was Thanksgiving? And I was in my brain going, oh yeah, okay, tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that checks out.
I'd already lost a day.
Yeah. We have a busy, personally, I have a busy 2 or 3 weeks coming up. Very, very, very busy.
Yeah. We're still playing grab ass with the city and the county on permits and stuff like that. So as you can see, we're starting to take shape here. And so we're going to have a few more boards because this doesn't have to be a raft for 200 people.
Yes, actually, Dr. Bob, we had planned on, obviously this is the test run, since Ed likes to be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
You know, if this works out and I can make it, I actually have it pushing a higher resolution than it's supposed to currently, so that's why it looks really good currently. But as long as it keeps doing that, then we'll be great. Although you shifted your camera there for me, Ed, if you want to.
Oh yeah.
No, not the boat. You shifted the camera.
Yeah, I did. I shifted a little bit because I kept doing this with it, going that way. Now, I'm not going to put wood on this side. I guess I could put a small drop just to tack it. But what I don't want to do is there's such an air gap there. I don't want it squishing out. I've already got one spot I saw as I was going along.
Not quite overclocking. It's just not. It doesn't like to run outside of 720. It's supposed to do up to 4K. I don't know how, because at 4K, it wants to run at like 8 frames. So it's like a picture show. It's not great.
We'll go back to here and mess with that.
Yeah, I know. It's just it's funny.
Also, too, if you accidentally, like I did
overclocking.
just right there, because I grabbed the wrong tool to push with, if you bend in, you can see the bend in that. Just don't use it.
Could you still, if you had a limited number of those, could
If
you
you
still
had
use
to,
it?
yes, you can make anything work. But trying to straighten a straight pin is not easy. And once they're bent, it's just sort of easier just to screw it and let's go. All right. Yes, sir.
Baphomet actually has a good question.
Okay.
Are you adding a shark with a stick in its eye?
A shark with a stick in the eye?
Yeah.
If we had one.
It's from the. Have you seen the render for that?
No.
You know what? I'll go ahead and throw that up on. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually will be up here on Friday. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if Ed will. I know John, Dave, and myself. Maybe no one else. I don't know.
No, I'll be here because there's a real good chance that those that follow Cav, his Kickstarter's in the country and supposed to be delivered here any day. And it's already a week late because it got held up in the agricultural, which we get ours held up a lot, but it's usually on the consumer protection side and then on the kids side. But his got held up by the agriculture people, which when I saw that email, I was like, what the hell? I don't know what they're going to do with that. But anyway, it's delayed, so we could be seeing a container in here. And hopefully they don't deliver it on Thanksgiving. That would sort of suck.
Here we go, Ed. I'm going to go ahead and drop this thing in here. This is what they're talking about.
And if you have a question, you need to ask him. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's back to the 3D printed thing. But yeah, that's cool. That was from Bones. Which one?
That's this one coming
The
up.
Bones
That's
5?
that's Brinewind, the expansion.
Yeah.
A part of it, I believe.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love that.
Sounds to me like we got to add a shark to this then.
But this thing, I said, what we're doing here really more than anything is just showing working technique, what we'll be doing as we'll be building. And then what we'll also need to do is get some input from y'all. We can attempt to build just about anything. Like stuff I've built from scratch is I built all of the containers, the garbage cans. Daryl built the ammo box. He's the 3D sculptor back there. Kevin built the first dumpster where the lid lifts up. I built the taller, wonky dumpster, I don't know what you call it. And then the containers and just various gizmos. You build them out of Plastistruck. For years building masters and junk. There's a lot of stuff. So if there's stuff you want to see, put it there, or easier, just do you want this at reaperlive at reapermini.com?
Yeah, let's funnel everything for now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay, so if you have an idea, throw it at Justin there at reaperlive at reapermini.com.
Bingo.
And we'll go through them. I was going to do the trebuchet just because it ends up taking time and it's a little bit slower work, and so people can get along. Maybe we could figure out a way to add pyrotechnics so something explodes. All right. So we'll call that our last board, and then we'll move now into the fun part. Which the fun part for me is now that you've got it constructed, is the distressing part. Okay? This thing was hobbled together. It still has a very symmetrical look to it. So what I'm going to first do is just go over here and whack this off a little bit. Yeah, it was a weird
phrasing,
yeah. Yeah, you got to have a thick skin around here. And this one will make more shattered.
What kind of wood did you say this was?
Balsa wood.
Is it all this soft?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the whole theory behind it. Is it's all soft. Now, what happened underneath is what I want to have happen above, so we'll just reverse the way we're pulling.
Yeah, are we going to put a sail on this thing?
We could. That's easy. I'd pictured it just being across a canal or something, and you had to carry people and their armor and their supplies, but we could put a sail on it. And if we had a George Washington mini, we could put that in there. And
we actually, Lava, we kind of currently do that with the backdrop that the turntable sits on, but it's not a bad idea to add some of the stuff that Ed makes. But if we add it to the turntable background, then we're not giving it away.
yeah.
So
Well, there's stuff you make that you want to keep, or that's it's
Sure.
worth showing. I think will be this show is going to go on, so there's stuff out there that's definitely worth keeping and showing.
Yeah, I think this is going to go on my desk because it looks cool.
I thought if it was done in time for the end that we were going to hand it out or something. So we have that. There we go. Now we have to deal with these ends. The ends, well, first off, they should not be the same. That board broke, so we could actually pull it off right there. And that even adds to the texture. All right. That looks sort of, take a couple of big whacks out of it. Oh yeah, we didn't do these guys. And we'll, oh. So, now there we go. So that would be, I would say, we're ready to go, and now we can start painting. And I'm totally not even prepared for that part. Just we'll need the red, and we'll find a brown here, or a gray. Gray's always good. Gray's a really nasty option. Adamantine black, a little of that.
They want to know any techniques for working with a hobby knife so you don't cut yourself.
Just be careful. Honestly, that's really all you can do. In fact, too, we use OSHA approved, or we did for a while, OSHA approved box knives around here. And somebody that you know very, very well,
Very well,
cut herself on by accident, using an OSHA approved, it'll never cut you knife. So it just goes back to paying attention.
She did a number on her thumb. She really did.
Yeah, I'm just sort of I'm going to scoot, oh, you got that camera on. I'm going to go over here and find a cup. No.
I mean, you don't want people to watch you just search around the room.
Okay, well, no, it's time to improvise. We'll just use this thing here. So, not a real big fan of the brown because most wood, that's what we got to do first is a church door. It's got to be a red. I don't know why. I just see red church doors. Oops, that was interesting. So we'll get some, here's what I'm going to more or less do is that. I've never seen that happen. I wonder if there's a nipple up in there. I don't think there is.
Phrasing?
No, that's what you call them. My God. Now we need to pick out a exceptionally fine brush that is awesome to use. More.
It's just like the Raft is improvised, the palette is also improvised.
Yeah. If I didn't have this, I'd be doing it just straight on the green thing. Clean it off later.
And for those of you who just tuned in, Ed has already cut himself.
Did I? No, I haven't.
No, it's I'm suggesting the paint you're painting with.
Oh, there we go. The blood.
Remember, no happy accidents. No, you know. Oh, that is.
Yeah, to me, the door's set in my brain. I was like, okay, so they were all sent off to scavenge wood, and somebody came back with half a door. You know, there's a story there.
What red is that, by the way?
Heraldic red.
Oh, I would say blood red.
Well, if you were a knight fighting, it's probably designed to cover up all your wounds so you could still look tough and pristine. Now, when I do this stuff too, I'm not really too worried about super getting close to the edges because we're going to be going back in with some other stains to really gunk this up and make it look distressed. But with painting this wood too, it's actually a lot of fun just because it's like it said. Who was that asked earlier? Somebody asked about it stained versus also painting.
Yeah, someone asked if we were going to be staining or painting.
So we'll get that done. We'll clean our palette like we're supposed to. And now we're going to go to, we'll go ahead and go with nut brown. Not that they would be painted boards off of fences and stuff. So we'll go back in a little bit. And, oh, too much, but we'll make it work. Let's go up there. That would be more like a raw wood. Our bottom. And there's different, over time I learned too, if you pre-wet the wood and then put paint on it versus with it dry, you can get all sorts of different techniques that way. So the preload, things on what you do, I just sort of play with it until it looks right. And I don't know what right is, but we'll find out when we get there. Oh, we need a Bob Ross line, right? Here we're going to put a little secret rivet that only we know about.
How much Bob Ross have you watched?
I've got his key ring up there that gives all his, or several of his sayings. I haven't really watched a lot of him, but if I caught him on TV, it was always worth a watch. But that's sort of the viewing I do. I like my all-time favorite, just regular show, was the Japanese version of Iron Chef. I would watch that all the time. That was just hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I love that show, actually. I like that and Iron Chef. I watch a lot of cooking shows.
I didn't watch for the cooking show. Didn't even understand it. It was just, they covered that show like we cover Sunday NFL football, you know, with cameras on the pots and speculation of what's going in the pot. And it was just insane. I just really liked it. It was just neat to watch. That and soccer games televised out of Mexico. Those are, if I get stuck, they're always playing around March, I think it is, because I'll be out at the trade show. And you get tired and you get in the room, and I'll just sit there and watch the soccer games, and them screaming and everything. It's just fun times. Now, I'll have to come back and do that as splinters. So we're done with that color. This is the lid for my pins. Okay. Now we're going to go in with a green-ish Hauda green. I don't know.
No problem, Scotch. I think there probably will be. I mean, what's left, if you want to watch the end, will be on YouTube.
Yeah.
As far as work in progress, I don't know if he plans on finishing today or not.
No, I'll go ahead and finish it. It might run a
Okay.
few minutes over. Let's just get it done so it's done.
Okay, so he plans on finishing it, which means if you guys want to come back, you can check it out on YouTube. I think we could probably post a picture of the final on Facebook. I don't see why. Oh, Instagram as well.
Yeah,
Why
we
not?
can do that. There's supposed to be a tweet tomorrow. Yeah. And
One
that's what they
whole
call it.
tweet.
No, they call it that tweet. I've got to do. Anyway. Yes, we'll put it on Instagram. All right. Oh man. Not enough colors. Too much time. All right, and then we have here, that's the black. We have another sort of weird color. Yeah, olive green. I don't know where that one went.
It's underneath the tub on your right there.
Okay. Oh, it's the same color. Thought it was olive, just. All right. Trying to see if I can show them. I'll see one soon enough. As far as where the glue is and what will absorb the. All right. Is that same? Yeah, that's that other one. Oops, there we go.
Whoops.
That's the
Whoops
color I
is
was looking
right.
for. Oh. We don't want to know what canal this has been in.
Actually, Doug, I don't think Mocha is streaming today. Mainly because I was just texting her, and I believe she's like grocery shopping. So unless she rushed home in the last 5 minutes, I don't think she's streaming today.
I thought she was already in town. She's not in
Yeah,
town?
she is in town. That's
Oh,
where
she
she's
just did her
grocery shopping
plans.
with her mother, I believe.
Okay.
So she is, unless she's doing an IRL stream from her phone, I do not believe she will be on.
Well, hell, watch her shopping. That'd probably be fun.
You know what? I would watch her shopping. Why
Yeah.
not? I can imagine Walmart and other type grocery stores today are probably insanely busy.
Busy. Yeah. No, I had stopped by. We stopped by Walmart earlier to get something. And I was amazed. I mean, the people I saw coming around the corners had just like full carts. I need a couple of more
Paper towels?
towels. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks, sir. All right.
I heard you cut yourself.
No, not yet. But now that it's been said 3 times, you probably were back there in the bathroom in the mirror going, Ed cut himself. Ed, they're waiting for 3 times, right?
Just spin around, turn the lights off, turn it off.
Yeah. Well, that ought to be interesting. I didn't realize that was a metallic. Oh, well.
Oh, no, Ed doesn't prefer to use pokey tools. He likes to just dump.
Well,
So-
no, I'll pokey tool, but I'm running against time, and everybody's got other things to be and do. So I'm trying not to.
You could always just finish this next Tuesday.
Nah. We'll be on to bigger and better things. This is just to show how it's done, what it's done. It was something easy to do, sort of a throwaway kind of a thing. All right, now we would clean this up so we can go full on. What I need is a black. Oh, I can use this. This will work. This will work. Now I need that black. Thank you, sir. Got to age the door a little bit. Only because down there at the bottom it's going to get old. See if I can keep from pouring half the bottle. Yes, a controlled pour.
I got your.
There we go. I should have had that. Yes, my infamous. That's what we should be using. I didn't realize, man, that the amount comments we hear and mail we get over that.
Mail. Yeah, mail.
All right.
Mail, it never fails.
All right. All right, we're going to go. Tell me there's one there. There he is. What? What's so funny?
Do you really want to know, Ed?
Nah.
No? Okay, good. We'll just leave it. We'll just laugh about it in the background.
Yeah.
It's more fun that way.
Is there anything being said? You've got to read that. I'm not looking up there for me.
Monster Slayer boss actually thought that you were painting a fence.
I guess if they're really nice when they're through with their raft, they can lean it against the wall. It's somebody that needs a fence section.
Blade Mark said that you could have done the entire boat in one pass with the good brush.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke. All right.
Thank you for the sub. Also, thank you for all the people that did sub this stream. Also, earlier, I think we
Thank
missed
you all.
it.
I haven't been watching, and I have been. I'm relying upon, and apparently, failing at relying on.
Well, I was trying to read questions. There's lots of we had a handful of subs. Melon actually gifted a sub. Thank you for that earlier, Melon. Melon, something like that.
All right. Man, it looks brighter there. It's a little bit more muted here. All right. So, well, I'll let it dry and we'll hit it with that. No, it's pink. Okay, sienna. And then the last thing would be is that black, high density.
Oh, also, if you won something from Reaper Live this last Thursday, I do have a 3 or 4 or 5 people that didn't claim yet. Don't forget, it's $20. It's a $20 gift certificate, and for those of you who did send their information in, it has been credited to your email already. So you should check it and you should have it. But if you're unsure if you won and you want to double check, go back to the episode and look at the winners. And if you see your name, then send me information. You know, email. All I need really is the email that's associated with your. Technically, I need 2 things: the email that's associated with your Reaper Mini account, and then I need your Twitch handle. Those 2 things. Lava wants to know if, because he's noticing, or she is noticing that you're doing this on a cutting mat. Do you clean the mat, or does it clean up well? Is it something?
It does clean up well. I'm abusive. I guess I'll clean it up, but it cleans up relatively easy if you just got to remember to do it. The one nice thing about it is because it's flexible. This is an Excel, EXCEL, but it's flexible. I've always liked this because if I've got putty on there, or something hard that sticks, or paint, a blob that I missed, or something. Anyway, I can just roll the mat and you get a lot of the stuff out. So anyway, I knocked off the rivets, the heavy rivets part. And now we're just going to add some more shading to give it a little bit more depth.
Also, thank you, TJ, for the naked mole rat picture. I appreciate that.
The what?
I got a chuckle out of that.
Oh.
Inside joke, kind of, from Sadie's show. TJ joked about sending nudes with the information, and he sent me a naked mole rat.
Oh.
It was clever and funny.
All right. There had to have been a knocker or something there on the door. A handle.
They want an Ed's Raft emoji.
There we go.
Oh boy. As soon as we get partner, eventually it'll happen. But as soon as we get partner, then we will have so many more emotes. We'll have some specific to each show. It'll be great. Till then, guys, one way to help with that is just keep watching, follow, subscribe when you can. All those things help. So,
All right. So for the last part, as you can see where we are on that thing. All the way down to the floor.
And of course, like toast, it lands
Face side down.
paint side
There we go.
down. Look.
But it's constructed out of unobtainium.
So this is part of the step, guys. That was not an accident.
Yeah, you get it on the carpet to shake it off.
Throw it on the carpet.
All right, so what we're going to do for this last little part is dry brush some, I thought I had a color. Was that sienna? That's about as light as we're going. I don't see a white. Yeah. Oh, I know what I'll do. Nut brown, okay.
I'd like to believe fiber seeing because we have good old fashioned fun here, especially when you hand Ed some craft tools and some paint. It's fun for the whole family.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. It's not going to be your normal.
Oh, steel wool. Do you use steel wool?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I use steel wool. Weird thing I found out about steel wool a few years ago is if you can take a pile of steel wool and you have some sort of a flint to throw sparks, you can ignite it to start a fire. So I never knew that.
We're not encouraging anyone to start a fire. That's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Ed is not telling anyone to start a fire.
Yeah. Thank God they can't see my facial expression. And we'll use our junk. There's our board. So to cut some of the ragged ends, basically pull it back up.
I've actually seen that internet, Jojen. I've seen someone do that with a 9-volt. They just touch it to steel wool and it just. Woof.
Oh, does it really? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
it's kind of crazy.
Although I'm dubious to watch things like that because of, I used to love the trolls they had where if you never wanted to buy 9-volt AA batteries again, you went and bought a 6-volt and cut it open. Or if you got locked out of your car, you got an air bubble and you just pressed it along the side and it unlocked your car magically.
Oh, magical.
So, I think we're about ready to call it done. Almost. Let's give it some weathering here. Oh wait, I forgot one thing. You're going to have
Do you want to give this thing away next week or today?
Doesn't matter to me. You're the one doing that part.
Well, do you want to even give it away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I think we talked about it before is that we're trying to structure it to the, now what I'm doing here, the reason I'm going to say is, I'm just going to use this pin here because theoretically there were holes here for screws, in my brain at least, where a latch or something was attached. And we also have to have some for the hinges. And what happens is this hole will actually, if it works like it's supposed to.
All right. Hashtag free and you will get this raft. Ed might even sign it if you want him to.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. And then over here, we're going to give it a couple of holes for hinges. And the wood's still a little wet, but generally what you're trying to do here is you've added these holes and they'll accent themselves when you put the stain on it. Oops, did I miss that? Oh well. That's always the best way to work. Oh well. Don't know if I'll go with the black. And then I would just about put a stick in this.
And actually, yes, as far as, because we've talked about this, as far as giveaways go, the only show during the week that we want to consistently
give random stuff away.
Yeah, give random stuff away is Reaper Live. So the rest of the shows, you might have a theme, and that's if we give stuff away.
Like
we may
Sadie, I
not.
think is that in the discussion I overheard, and this could easily change. Sadie would always have pokies and,
Sure.
And champagne paint color as hers, and so we're trying to do that because while we got a lot of junk around here, we don't have enough junk to constantly give it away.
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah. So, let me get some paint back on these that came off from the carpet. And there we go. I'd call that worthy enough to jump onto and go across the canal. So, now you've seen the techniques we're going to use and what we're going to do with this. And for those that came in late, effectively we just got a ton of tools that we'll use. You saw me use a lot of them here, cutters and things like that. We're just using random scraps of the balsa wood, so there is not any pre-measurement. We're not even really using plans, and we're just going to create stuff. Next week, I would plan on, we would probably start with the trebuchet. And then that's something that'll keep on going over week to week to week idea, as opposed to just being something I can throw together in an hour and call it done, kind of a thing. But you'll see the techniques, how it works, and also too, the way, as I said, you can see there where we could pop the rivet off and just use the pin as a nail, which gives it its structure to help dry. That way we're never waiting for it to dry. And then also too, it's given it a lot of really good structure, kind of a thing. So
also, hashtag free real quick, if you didn't hear this earlier, to win this raft. Hashtag free.
Oh, hashtag free, yes, do that. And will it float? Yes, if this dries out. Right now it's pretty waterlogged. But yes, it would float. I would have
actually,
to
Ed, on camera, do you want to sign the back of it?
Okay.
To prove that it's authentic?
Authentic. Yeah, I don't think this is going up to the, let me find something to, oh, there we go. Even better. We'll do that. Where we stick it right there.
I love the barcode on the bottom.
And it's, what is this, 19? And then we do a smiley face. And this would be our secret little tree right here. There we go. It looks sort of like a little palm tree.
Perfect.
So anyway, guys.
Dead on. Good job.
Twitch. What was it? Oh, yeah. Anyway, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. No, that was on one of the boards. Instagram, Facebook, Reddit. Now that John's doing Reddit, and his brother's Facepalm, and what's that? MySpace. If that's anything. Get out there on the social media and just have fun, and find it, like us or whatever. And that's it for this week. And next week we'll pick it up and go a little bit more. As I said, if you just want to get in scraps, and then we'll just build with it and you keep along. And if you have any suggestions, go ahead and email those to Justin at reaperlive@reapermini.com. And if you have a question on something we can build, and then I'll go back through and do it. And again, it just sort of depends what we're building. As I said, we went through earlier, 3D printed, some more scale stuff, medieval. We're just really, what is it you want to use it for really dictates what you're trying to, whether it's for photography, which is a lot of our stuff, or for gameplay, things like that. I did see the Nova Trebuchet documentary, long time ago. I'm going to have to do some reading there to get back up to it. I don't have a banana for scale, though. For scale on it. I don't see him on here. I would. But he could always transport the basilic. That would be bad for those that try and dock him. They would become anchors. So anyway, guys, y'all have fun, and we will see you later.
Hold on. We got to give away the boat.
Oh, yeah, man, the best part.
Well, I even put my name in for this one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
So that would make for a quicker delivery.
I want to point out we're #1 in the art channel right now.
Are we really?
Yeah.
It couldn't be for my art.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and get this. Let's drawing here. All
Who
right,
do we
guys,
get?
you ready? Hold on, people are getting their last minute hashtag free.
Coffee, nerd, or beer. Always on the ceiling.
Last minute, and we're gonna draw now.
If everybody's in there, hashtag free go. He's drawing. Oh,
Our winner is Bayou Bingle 69.
there we go. And Bayou Bingle 69 if you're in there, or if you're watching the YouTube. And does this go in the notes down below on YouTube?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
Just in case you know, you need to send your Twitch handle and your physical address that we need to mail it to, including your name, and it has to go to reaperlive@reapermini.com. And then Justin will find it, he'll get it, he'll wrap it, and he'll ship it off to you.
Bingo.
But if you don't do that, you're not going to get it, and you have to do that. So congratulations to everybody that got in. Thanks for coming by and watching. I hope to have fun with this. This is sort of something I hadn't done in years, and I'm really sort of jonesing on doing it again. So that's it.
I have a raid set up for us.
Oh, really? Who's it going to be?
Mini painter Luke.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So-
good.
We will see. Just spread the Reaper love, guys, and
Well, we'll see you next Tuesday.
we will see you next
Y'all
Tuesday.
have a very, very good Thanksgiving and stay safe.
Or tomorrow if you're gonna watch
Or
Mocha's
tomorrow,
show.
yeah, or tomorrow from Mocha's show, or for me in my world, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I'll be the only one sitting around by myself going, where is
That's
everybody?
with a turkey he made.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You have a great night.
Have fun. Bye.